Okay, so today we're going to be looking at numbers.
Yeah.
Ridiculously large numbers, and
That's it.
specifically a project called Googolplex written out.
All right.
And this was a project from Wolfgang H. Nietzsche.
Yes.
And using the sources you gave me, this is going to be
Yeah,
quite a deep dive
Isn't it?
into some pretty crazy concepts.
Absolutely. I mean, just imagine trying to even
Yeah.
think about a number
Yeah.
so large that even writing it out
Right.
would be
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And that's precisely what Nietzsche set out to do.
And he was affiliated with Stanford at the time, right?
Yeah, that's right. He was affiliated with Stanford University when he started this project.
So before we get into that,
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to define for our listeners
Sure.
what a Googolplex is, because some people might know
Absolutely.
and some people might not.
Yeah. It's a good starting point.
So,
We have to start with the basics. And
yeah.
the term Google
Yeah.
was coined by a mathematician, Edward Kasner,
Okay.
back in 1940
Oh, right.
in his book Mathematics and the Imagination.
Okay.
And he defined a Google as 1 followed by 100 zeros.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a 1 with 100 zeros after it?
Yeah, or 10 to the power of 100.
Okay, 10 to the power of 100. I can
Right.
sort of picture that in my mind, but it's
Yeah.
already kind of stretching it.
Exactly. And a Googolplex takes that to a whole other level.
Okay.
So now we're talking 1 followed by a Google of zeros.
Whoa, okay, hold on.
Think about it. A Google, which is already this massive number,
Right.
becomes the exponent.
Yeah.
Mathematically, it's 10 to the power of a Google.
Right.
But conceptually, well, that's where our brains start to melt.
Yeah, I think they're already starting to melt a little bit.
Yeah.
So Nietzsche decides, hey, I'm going to write this out.
Yeah.
What was he thinking?
Well, his Googolplex written out project is more than just a simple writing exercise.
Okay.
It's a multi-volume set of books, available both as PDFs and physical copies,
Okay.
that attempts to represent this colossal number.
So how does he actually do that? Like, are we talking like a library full of books?
You're closer than you think.
Really?
Each volume is filled with 1 million zeros,
Wow.
not just a few pages.
Okay.
The entire volume from cover to cover is zeros.
Oh, wow.
The first volume starts with the digit 1,
Okay.
and then it's zeros all the way down.
Wait, so we're talking about a library filled with volumes
Yeah.
as thick as like a phone book each.
Yeah.
And every single page is filled with zeros.
That's right.
Okay, so what's the point?
Well, you're hitting on a crucial point here.
Okay.
The scale of this project is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Nietzsche calculated that it would take 10 to the power of 100 volumes
Wow.
to fully write out a Googolplex.
10 to the power of 100 volumes.
Yeah, that's more volumes than there are estimated atoms
Oh, wow.
in the observable universe.
Okay, so printing this out would be impossible.
Yeah.
But even digitally, like you can't read through all these zeros.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Reading it sequentially would be,
Yeah.
well, let's just say a very, very long task.
Yes.
In fact, Nietzsche himself acknowledged
Okay.
that writing out a Googolplex is an exercise in futility.
Okay.
He knew it was impossible to ever complete or even truly grasp
Yeah.
the entirety of the number.
So if it's not about like practical use, then what is it about?
Right.
What's the point?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Googolplex written out isn't about the destination,
Okay.
but the journey.
Oh,
By
yeah.
attempting the impossible,
Okay.
Nietzsche forces us to confront the limits of our own understanding.
Okay.
It's like staring into the abyss of infinity
Yeah.
and realizing how small we are in comparison.
Yeah, it's like trying to wrap your head around
Exactly.
the idea of forever. You
Yeah.
can never fully grasp it.
Exactly. And in a way,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Okay.
It pushes us to think beyond our usual limits
Yeah.
and consider concepts that are truly beyond comprehension.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like the journey is what's important here,
Precisely.
not the destination.
Yeah. It's a bit like climbing Mount Everest.
Okay.
The view from the summit might be breathtaking,
Right.
but the real challenge
Yeah.
and the real growth come from the arduous climb itself.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that analogy.
It is a paradox.
Yeah.
But a fascinating one.
And so we have this project that it's impossible to complete.
Right.
Forces us to confront our limits.
Yeah.
And yet it's valuable.
Exactly. And this might seem abstract,
Right.
but it actually connects to some pretty significant ideas
Okay.
in fields like cosmology
Oh,
and theoretical physics.
how so?
Well, in those fields,
Yeah.
scientists are constantly dealing with numbers
Right.
that are either incredibly large
Okay.
or incredibly small,
Yeah.
pushing the boundaries of what we can easily comprehend.
Yeah, like,
Think about the estimated number of galaxies in the
or
universe,
the distance.
or the mind-boggling distances
Yeah.
between celestial objects.
Yeah, even with scientific notation, it's hard to grasp the sheer scale
What's
of the
it-
universe.
And then on the other end of the spectrum,
Right.
you have the realm of quantum mechanics,
Okay.
where we're dealing with particles and distances
Yeah.
that are so tiny,
Right.
they practically defy imagination.
Yeah, so are you saying that even though a Googolplex might not have any
Yeah.
direct application in those fields,
Right.
it helps us stretch our minds?
That's one way to look at it.
Okay.
It's like a mental warm-up exercise
Right.
for dealing with the extremes of the cosmos.
Yeah.
It reminds us that our everyday intuition about numbers
Okay.
can easily break down
Right.
when we venture into those realms.
Yeah, for sure. It's just crazy to think that there are things out there
Right.
that are just simply too vast
Yeah.
for us to fully comprehend.
And that brings us back to the value of Nish's project.
Okay.
It's not about finding a practical use for a Googolplex.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging the limitations,
Okay.
our own understanding,
Okay.
and recognizing that there are some things
Right.
that might always remain beyond our reach.
Yeah. It's like accepting that there will always be mysteries,
Exactly.
unanswered questions.
That's right.
Things we can only glimpse at from a distance.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what makes the pursuit of knowledge
Okay.
so exciting.
Okay.
It's a never-ending journey.
Right.
And there's always something new to discover.
Yeah. So Nietzsche's project is kind of a monument to the unknown,
It is.
a symbol of all the things that we don't know
Yeah.
and might never fully comprehend.
And it's also a testament to human ingenuity
Right.
and our insatiable curiosity.
Yeah.
Even though we know we might have reached the end of that journey,
Yeah.
we're still driven to explore,
Right.
to push the boundaries,
Right.
to see what lies beyond the horizon.
Okay, so we talked about this abstract philosophical side,
Yep.
but I'm also curious about the more practical side
Okay.
of large numbers.
Yeah.
Because even if we never use a Googolplex,
Right.
surely there are some real-world applications of
Large numbers play a critical role in a variety of fields,
Okay.
especially in scientific computing
Okay.
and data analysis.
Right.
Think about the Human Genome Project,
Oh, yeah.
which involved sequencing and mapping
Yeah.
the billions of base pairs
Yeah.
that make up human DNA.
That was a massive undertaking.
Exactly.
I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
They had to develop all sorts of new algorithms and
Right.
computing techniques to
Exactly.
be able to even handle that much data.
Yeah, and in fields like astronomy,
Yeah.
we use incredibly large numbers to describe distances
Right.
between stars and galaxies.
Yeah.
We use light years to measure those vast cosmic distances,
Right.
which involve numbers that are, well, astronomical.
It's funny how we use the word astronomical to describe something really big,
Right.
but the actual numbers involved in astronomy are even more mind-boggling.
It really highlights how limited our everyday language is
Yeah.
when we try to talk about these
Wow.
truly vast concepts.
Yeah.
And don't forget cryptography.
Oh, yeah.
The security of online transactions and communication
Right.
relies heavily on the use of prime numbers,
Yeah.
some of which are incredibly large.
Right.
These prime numbers are used to create encryption keys
Okay.
that are very difficult to crack,
Right.
ensuring the confidentiality
Okay.
of sensitive information.
So even though we might not ever use a number as large as a Googolplex,
Right.
it's clear that large numbers are very essential
Absolutely.
for a lot of the things that we do.
From unlocking the secrets of our genetic code
Right.
to securing our digital world,
Yeah.
large numbers are the invisible backbone
Right.
of countless innovations
Yeah.
that shape our lives.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that something as abstract as a number
It is.
can have such a profound impact on our world.
And it reminds us that math is more than just formulas and equations. It's a language that allows us to explore
Right.
and understand the world around us,
Yeah.
from the smallest particles
Yeah.
to the largest structures in the universe.
It's like math is this bridge between the concrete and the
Yeah.
abstract,
Exactly.
between the things we can see and touch
Right.
and the things that lie beyond our perception.
And it's through projects like Googolplex written out,
Yeah.
which challenge our conventional thinking
Really?
and push us to the edge of our understanding,
Yeah.
that we can truly appreciate the boundless power and beauty
Yeah.
of mathematics.
Yeah. It's really a testament to the human spirit of inquiry
It is.
and the endless pursuit of knowledge.
And a reminder that the universe of numbers is
Yeah.
just as vast and mysterious
Right.
as the universe itself.
For sure. Okay, well we've gone through this crazy concept of Googolplexes,
Yeah.
looked at Nietzsche's ambitious project, and talked about even
Right.
the use of big numbers in
Right.
the real world.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I'm curious,
Sure.
what stands out to you most about this whole Googolplex written out?
Well, I think what strikes me is the sheer audacity of it all.
Yeah.
It really highlights
Okay.
human curiosity and this drive to push boundaries,
Yeah.
even when the task seems completely impractical.
It's like we as humans are constantly trying to understand and organize the world around us.
Exactly.
We create units of measurement
Yeah.
systems of classification,
Right.
these complex mathematical models.
Yeah.
And then along comes something like a Googolplex,
Yeah.
and it throws all that out the window.
It's a humbling realization.
It is. It really is.
It forces us to confront the limits of our understanding
Yeah.
and acknowledge that some things may always remain beyond our grasp.
Yeah, it's like gazing into the vastness of space
Right.
and realizing we're just this tiny speck in an
Free.
unimaginably large cosmos.
Yeah.
But there's something kind of exhilarating about that too,
Absolutely.
because it reminds us that there's so much more to discover,
Right.
so much more to explore.
It ignites a sense of wonder
Yeah.
and encourages us to keep searching for answers,
Yeah.
even if those answers might always be just out of reach.
It's like Nietzsche's project is this giant question mark, this
Yeah.
symbol of the unknown,
Right.
beckoning us to delve deeper.
Exactly. That's the beauty of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending journey,
Right.
a constant exploration
Yeah.
of the mysteries that surround us.
It's like we're all standing on the shore of an infinite ocean. And Nietzsche's project reminds us that no matter how far we sail,
Yeah.
there will always be new horizons.
New depths to plumb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So next time you encounter a large number, remember it might be just a tiny fraction of a tiny fraction of
That's
a Googolplex.
That should give you something to ponder.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of Googolplexes.
Right.
I hope you enjoyed the journey as much as we did.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
And until next time, keep those minds curious and those imaginations wide open.